All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I'm talking about those books that are still probably tucked away in those back issue boxes at your LCS. Things you can probably find because they're not the hot books. They're not the books that are, lighting up the charts and everybody's out there chasing. These are mostly like forgotten, undervalued, underappreciated type things, and just things I personally find interesting that I like sharing. So maybe you find some books that you also find interesting, give you something kind of fun to hunt that's not going to, hopefully break your wallet or, break your bank to get them. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for here with this series. Hopefully you're still enjoying it as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Consider hitting that join button and check out our memberships for some fun little bit of extras. And yeah, I know it's been a couple of weeks since I've done this. I took some time out to go to Baltimore Comic-Con. We've already covered that, so I'm trying to get back on my regular schedule, and I'm going to do my Hidden Gems here for Monday and Chasing Ghosts for Tuesday, and hopefully get everything back to normal as best that I can. Maybe a little bit of tweaks here and there as we move forward. But other than that, hopefully you're enjoying it. And like I said, if you want to see what I got this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so as we start off, back in the day, no, I shouldn't say back in the day because I skipped it for Halloween, but going back to normal, we're going to go to our quick artist retrospective. I'm going to spotlight an artist that I enjoy, kind of show you some of the works that they've done, some things that they're known for, some maybe their first works, some runs that they've covered, and some books you can probably find if you go out there digging in those boxes. So, who do I have on tap for you this week? Well, this week I have an artist who's mostly known for doing like exclusives and variant covers. That's like by and large, she hasn't worked on many runs of titles. It's usually the one-off covers here or there. Some of them are like store exclusives, some incentive exclusives, some B cover, C cover type deals, mostly variants though. And the artist I'm talking about is Ms. Natalie Sanders. I know a lot of people point out that a lot of her art, the face looks the same because I think she uses herself as the model for most of the characters that she draws, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, every artist works differently. And I can see it in a lot of her work. And if you want to see some of her work, go and check out her site where she has some exclusives also available for sale if you're interested in that kind of thing. I just saying, I was looking around, shopping around, I saw she has a whole site all of her own that's got a bunch of her variants on it. So take a look. Here's some of the stuff that you probably know her for or have noticed her for. Some of these variants, mostly like some of this DC stuff with the Harley Quinns, some of the Batman. I think it's Batman 50 with the Harley Quinn one, and then with Batman getting married, or they never actually got married, but the whole wedding debacle with Batman and Catwoman. And I think I was a Detective 1000 variant, possibly. Well, it was a Detective issue. I don't remember the number per se, but these are some Virgin covers, Virgin trade dress. This is what I'm talking about. With she's done a lot of exclusives, some convention exclusives as well, but a lot of like store exclusives with what her work has done. Another thing that she has done is also something that David Nakayama has been doing a lot lately. But she is, from what I remember, seeing this more first. Not to say that she originated it, because I know it's happened before then. I mean, Marvel had that Model Inc. Title all of its own, many, many years ago. But anyway, she's done these magazine type covers where it looks like a women's magazine and the characters are on the cover. So you got Harley, you got Batgirl, you got Harley again, got pretty cool stuff, and they got all the article headlines all kind of blended on there, and it looks pretty cool. It looks like a magazine cover. Kind of fun little thing that she's done. She's done it, like I said, on a number of titles, most of these on the DC side of things, but she's not exclusive to DC. I know that's mostly what I've shown you, apart from that GI Joe at the start. But she's also done other things as well. Like here's an exclusive she did for Guardians of the Galaxy. She did Hit Girl one there. You got Vampirella. She's bounced around and done a lot of work for a lot of different publishers. And as I said, a lot of this stuff is more on the store exclusive side, and not all of it. Like for store exclusives, I buy them. The ones that I like, and that's what I would recommend anybody do. Just get the ones you like, because by and large, most of them do not increase in value. So don't invest in store exclusives. Yes, the occasional one pops, everybody goes chasing it, FOMO, sets in, and then prices get out of hand. But by and large, a lot of these things never sell out and they're still available. And sometimes you can get them for even cheaper than they were initially offered for. As an example, here we have this Guardians of the Galaxy book. You can see a variant, Virgin variant sold for $20 with free shipping on November 4th. And back in August, a trade dress sold with 3 bids for $21.50. Now, the Virgin is usually the more expensive one and less, lower print run. And it sold for cheaper than the trade dress version. But you can still, if you wanted to, buy both of these, online now from the initial, distributor. $30 for the trade dress and $50 for the Virgin. That's the price that they initially cost and still cost because they still have some. And you can also see how copies sell on the aftermarket for even less sometimes. Again, this is not an indictment on the exclusive market. It's just pointing out facts that this happens more often than not. So don't get caught up in FOMO. Just get what you like and what you can afford, and don't overpay for things if you can avoid it. And if you do, you only have yourself to blame. That's all. So just notice a lot of this stuff. There's so many options these days. So many options for so many titles that it can get lost in the shuffle. And a lot of these get ignored and lost in the shuffle because there's just so many out there. People latch onto one and then they forget about the rest for whatever reason, right or wrong. That said, that's my little point to show you about the store exclusives. But her first work, at least from what I can gather, was this in 2012. And she did a bunch of stuff in 2012. But this, I think, was the first thing I noticed. This Salem's Daughter, The Haunting, issue 4. Art Germ did issue 1, I believe, of this title. But this is a cover that she did. I'm not sure if it's like a B title or not. But issue 4 is Natalie Sanders. And this thing, does okay if you can find it. One sold for $15 in back in August for this. So $15 for this random title. I know a lot of people aren't just hunting these, Zenescope books, but they're out there and they've got some good art on them. So take a look because the copies out there online right now, if you want to go and buy one, it's $30, $35, $60 raw. So they're not cheap. So if you can find one in a shop tucked away in a box, this Salem's Daughter, The Haunting, keep an eye out for this one. And like I said, Art Germ did issue 1, so keep an eye out for that one as well. And you'll notice there's artists that you might know, and you'll be like, oh, Zenescope, who did art here? There's tons of artists that have worked for Zenescope and done covers for them. Don't just think it's all just cheesecake. I mean, most of the covers are cheesecake, but a good artists have worked on those titles. It's not just, it's not something to be ignored. There's stuff out there for you, is what I'm trying to point out to you. That's it. I mentioned she's done, Natalie Sanders has done convention exclusives as well. So in 2012, we have this one that she did for San Diego Comic-Con. This title for Return to Wonderland. It is another Zenescope book, but it is I think it's Return to Wonderland. It's definitely, it's a Wonderland annual for 2012. There's multiple covers for this book, but she did one of the covers and the San Diego one at that. This thing has sold for $40, and there were none available after that I could find on the market. So just the one that sold for 40. So this is not something that's going to be easy to track down if you decide to go hunting for early Natalie Sanders work, because there's not a lot of it. Because again, even with Zenescope, they don't have high print runs on most of the things. Like a lot of the variants they have could be even limited to 100, 50, 75 copies. Like that's kind of where they roll. That's the most is they'll have some variants maybe in the couple hundreds, but even the regular titles that are printed are only in the single digit thousands. Like they're not a high print run type company. It's more niche. Why I can't talk today, I don't know. But that said, let's get on to the next book in 2012. She did for another convention. I think it's Detroit Fanfare is where this one came out of. And this is like a Legends of Oz, I think. Well, I'll give you the title as I bring up the actual sale prices here, but really cool cover. And I think it was a self-portrait that she did again. And she uses herself as the muse. But yes, this Legend of Oz, the Wicked West, #1, the Natalie Sanders variant for this con. Look at these prices. These are sold $700 and $750. Yes, they are, CGC 9.8, and I think that's a CBCS 9.8. So those are high grade copies, but those were the only copies I could see that sold. And even the copies that are available are CGC copies, and they are not cheap. $1,000 and $1,250 basically for Signature Series. Also 9/8 for both. That's all that's out there. This does not a lot of copies of this book to begin with, and I think most of them are graded at this point. But just kind of stuff to know. I'm not telling you about this when we're doing the artist retrospective. I'm not pointing these books out because I'm saying this is something you're going to find in a box when you go to your LCS, because most likely you're not going to. But it doesn't mean you can't be aware of it. And I'm just going to point it out to you so you know what it is. So when you do see it, you know what you're looking at. But this is also just kind of informative about the artist because, like I said, I like artists and I like looking through their portfolios and going through all the different stuff that they've done to see if I can go grab some for myself because I like collecting art and artists. That's one of the things I like to do. Now, with the image that started it off, our little presentation here, this was a convention exclusive from IDW back in 2018. This convention exclusive. I want to say this, I can't remember what con this was for, but they did issue 255 of G.I. Joe. She did a trade dress version and a virgin version of this book. I remember I picked up a couple of these. Actually, I want to say a few, like maybe 3 and 3, like 3 sets off of IDW's site after the fact, at like another convention. That's something IDW does. So just a friendly tip. IDW, when there's con exclusives rolling out, everybody chases the new ones, but go and check out the site beforehand because they will have overstock of past con stuff, even things that might have been sold out before where they find it, and you might be able to buy it for cheap. Because that's how I bought these. I also bought those Cobra Kai, the Johnny Lawrence and Danielson ones, and those are like $5 each. Like usually when they have them, not only are they for sale, they're for sale for cheap. So just a friendly tip, go check out IDW when those con exclusives hit, and check out the old stuff. Don't sleep on the old stuff because you might find some deals. Because this book does pretty well for itself. I don't think I have any extras anymore. I think I've gotten rid of them over the years. I think I gave away a set for one of the giveaways when we were nearing 1,000. I think I gave away a set of this book, but if you look, it still does pretty well. Here's a virgin version just so you can see it. But a set, $100. I didn't pay $100 for these. I think these were like $5 to $10 each when I bought them. But $100 for a set, $40 for the trade dress, $60 for the virgin. So yeah, when you put them together, it's $100. So 40 trade dress, 60 for the virgin. That's not too bad. And like I said, some shops and some people might have had it. So this is something you might be able to find somewhere in a box, maybe a variant box or something like that. It might ask like a little bit extra, but yeah, maybe not. Who knows? These are the prices. So this way you can gauge for yourself if you find it, whether you want to buy it or not. Because I'm not going to tell you this is going to be in a dollar bin or anything like that. You might have to pay a little bit. But if you see the prices, they've recently sold for 40 and 60, 100 for the set. Asking prices are around 50 to 60, 110 for the set. If the shop has it for like $20, is that worth it to you? That's your call to make. I'm not going to because I already have a set. But if I didn't, I might consider it at 20. But again, it's your decision. I'm just showing you the market so you can make the call for yourself. Now, outside of this convention exclusive, she's also done a little incentive. This is going to be impossible to find. This is a 1 in 10 for Big Dog Inc. The title is Penny for Your Soul. Issue 1, I believe this was a 1 in 10. Yeah, I don't know where you're going to find this thing, but I didn't find any that sold recently to give you a market on it. And I did find one that was available, and they want $150. And to be fair, that's probably not that crazy of an ask because how many of these could actually be out there? I didn't look into the print runs for this, but if it even made the Comic-Con numbers for that month, you got to imagine that a 1 in 10, you're talking about maybe under 100 copies or something. I don't know, something ridiculously low, most likely. So just something to be mindful of, but chances of you finding it are probably pretty slim. But I wanted to share it and show it anyway. Yeah, probably a better, probably should have saved this for Tuesday. Did this on Chasing Ghosts, but there it is. This Penny for Your Soul #1, this 1 in 10 for Natalie Sanders. Again, this was kind of early work for her too. I think this was also in that 2012. She did a lot in 2012 and then just kind of scattered throughout the years since, like just doing a few things here or there. She's not really had like a signature run per se on like a title like where she's done like a 30 issue run of B covers on Catwoman or something like that. Things that they probably should consider, but again, I don't know her work style. I don't know how long it takes for her to do her art, so something like that might not make sense for her if she takes longer to work. Like when we were at Baltimore, we talked to Jeremy Bastian, who did a Cursed Pirate Girl, and his art is so detailed and so finely detailed that he had said that he'll spend like 2 weeks on a page. So he works at his own pace, and that pace might not fit the publishing schedules of the big two. So that's just also something else to keep in mind, which is another reason why some of these artists might just kind of linger in more in the store variants and exclusive variant kind of market because it just fits their schedule and how they work. That's the output that they can produce. So that little side note aside, she did have a run though. I kept saying how she not had a run, not had a signature run. But if there was to be a signature run, it probably was her little run here on this other small title, Ursa Minor from 2012. Again, going back to 2012 for her. These B covers on this Big Dog Ink title, Ursa Minor. It's like vampires or something like that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous covers here, 6 issues. And this, like I said, this is like her early stuff, her first work. So she had it even then, if you ask me. This is issue 1, and I'm just going to show these to you just so you can see see the covers here. The issue 2, yeah, that's pretty cool. Issue 3, and then we got 4, 5, and 6. I think a lot of people know 5. I think it's got mentioned way before by some other groups a long time ago. But yeah, this kind of goes back to those days. I mean, this is 2012 after all. But this Ursa Minor was her first kind of stuff that really kind of hit, I guess, and started to put her on the map a little bit, I guess. And this set, again, it's kind of crazy. Like the pricing for these, it's all over the place. I mean, you look at one issue was a best offer on $9 for I think that's issue 2. And then you can see some of the other issues. Issue 6, like graded 9.6 is only $86 at auction, and then 153 for a 9.4 of number 5. It's just kind of crazy and kind of all over the place with these prices. Asking prices are kind of in that same kind of realm where random issues, issue 3, $25, issue 1, $40, and then issue 6, $200 or $195 they want raw for that one. So again, prices are all over the place, but good luck finding these. But then again, maybe you can get lucky and find these in a box somewhere. Again, check those indies, check the indies, dig through there, get to know the artists, get to know their art style, and just flip through until something catches your eye. And sometimes you will be surprised what you can find and be like, oh my God, I didn't know so and so worked on this. And then you spot it, you found it, and you got yourself a nice little book that other people are probably hunting for if you don't want it for yourself. That said, we're going to keep moving. I don't want to keep lingering too long. Keep moving. So here's a C cover that she's done recently. This is just recent Harley Quinn issue 22. She did a C cover, so it's not often, but will do the random regular variant here. And like I said, this thing, it doesn't sell for all that much. So that's why I got some pricing here for you on this one. That's not the right pricing. So we're going to move on. I didn't update that. So you get it. It's like cover price. Like that's a recent issue. It's like cover price. Don't pay attention to the Miles book. That's from the deck before. Yeah. Again, bear with me. I'm trying to get back in the flow of things. I'm going to keep making mistakes. And rather than editing it out, I'm going to let you see all the freckles and spots and all that stuff. So with that said, we're moving on to variants. Variants. What do I got for you this week? This week, I'm going to stick with a singular title and a run of 1 in 10s. So 1 in 10s, and I know you're probably getting sick of me talking about IDW 1 in 10s, but they make a lot of them, and they're kind of fun to find. So that's why I like talking about the IDW 1 in 10s. So that's what I'm talking about again. And this time, we're talking about Gobots. Yes, Gobot 1 in 10s. Who was buying the Gobot title? I mean, it's only a couple of years ago, but the print runs were not very high on this. Now, issue 1 also had, I think, a 1 in 20, but most of the other issues, or all the rest of the issues, including this one, had a 1 in 10. And 1 in 10 was the highest for 2 through through the end of the run. But issue 1 also had a 1 in 20. But we're not looking at the 1 in 20. We're just looking at the 1 in 10 here. And these, if you can find them, actually aren't that bad. By and large, they're very affordable. None had sold. Issue 1 in 10. Couldn't find any recent sales. So in the last 3 months, couldn't find a sale. But you want to look what's available? Look, $5 for a 1 in 10. Not bad, right? Plus shipping. Obviously, you'll pay shipping. $5. Or look, there's a lot that has 1 in 10s for issues 1, 2, and 4 for $20. You get all 3 for 20. You get 3 of them for $20. Not too bad. And I think there's 5. I think it's a 5-issue run here for the whole set. So just something to keep in mind if you're curious. If you want to go digging in those boxes, maybe you find this stuff for cheap. And like I said, right now, these aren't worth a whole heck of a lot. But all we need is a GoBot resurgence, and you might have found yourself in that something that's worth picking up for cheap and just tucking away and saving it until that hits. Maybe it'll never hit, but it's still kind of fun to go and hunt and go and dig. Again, I'm not telling you to go buy these online and go buy these copies out and all that stuff. Sometimes I do it. I tell you what I do. Sometimes I'll buy the copies that are out there. But other than that, I'm just saying, go support your LCS, go dig in those boxes. And if you find stuff like this, I'm just trying to tell you what you found. So what you found here is just oddball 1 in 10s that right now aren't worth a whole heck of a lot, but you know how this market goes. All it takes is, oh, Gobot, they're bringing back Gobots. And all of a sudden, well, how many Gobot comics are there? There really aren't that many. There really aren't that many. We talked about them before, but these are the variants. So the variants will be the ones that a lot of the hardcore collectors will want to get. So you watch. It could happen. It's happened to other titles, so why not Gobots? That's it. Here's issue 2. Kind of a fun cover, 1 in 10. Again, I couldn't find recent sales for like any of these, but there were copies available. Like this one's in that lot. The only one I could find was in that lot. $20 gets you 3, 1, 2, and 4. So hey, it's worth considering, I guess. This is probably my favorite. The next one, issue 3, is probably my favorite. I don't know. There's something about this art style. It just kind of looks like I don't know. I don't know what to kind of attribute to. One like the Mad Balls type stuff, some of the skateboard like culture. Like I don't know. I kind of dig this issue 3 here, this 1 in 10, and I've considered buying this. I might even order it. I'm not even sure, but I keep looking at this one because I like it. So issue 3, once again, there were no recent sales, but there are copies available for like $8, $10. And then there's a different lot that has issue 3, A, B, and the 1 in 10. So those 3 issues for $20. So the A cover, the B cover, and the 1 in 10. Because yes, this is a 5-issue run. There's A covers, B covers, and 1 in 10s. Issue 1 also has a 1 in 20 on top of that, and it might even have an extra variant as well, but not a higher ratio, but just like something else mixed in, like a C cover or a blank or something like that. But issue 3 is probably my favorite. That said, we got 2 more, so let's keep it rolling. Issue 4, we've got this one. You got Sidekill facing off against, I can't remember the name of the plane dude. Gobots were kind of like to the side. The Transformers was more my thing. I know they mixed together. I kind of played with all the toys together, but I don't remember all the Gobots characters' names. I know a few, but 1 in 10 for issue 4. Also, couldn't find any recent sales. And then there is that lot that has 1, 2, and 4. It's the only ones I could find. So there's not a lot out there, at least on the market right now. Then when the ones that are there, they're pretty cheap. So there you go. That's what's available for. And our last one, issue 5, final issue in the series. A couple of more of these, the toys that I remember. No copies have sold for issue 5 either. And there was a copy out there for $7 that I found. So again, all of these, except issue 3. Issue 3 actually had 1 at ratio on its own. But other than that, rest of these are under ratio at 1 in 10. So they're not expensive books. It's kind of fun things for you to go and hunt, and maybe you find them tucked away in a box. Again, if you're looking for them and you're flipping through Gobots, there's an A cover, there's a B cover, which I think it's probably going to say cover A. I don't know if it'll say cover B or sub cover. It'd be one of those two things, but the incentives will say RI. So retailer incentive, RI cover are the 1 in 10s. Those are the retailer incentives. So keep that in mind. If you're flipping, it's right there on the cover. IDW is good that way in that they tell you what you're looking at. Whereas Marvel, half the time you don't know. I mean, yes, you can check the barcode, but you'd have to know how many different covers they have to know which one is the 1 in 25, which one's the 1 in 10, which one's the B cover, C cover, the action figure cover, yada, 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 yada. So many covers, it's impossible. So at least IDW tries, or tried, I guess, because now they lost a lot of their IPs. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's our variant section for today. Let's keep it rolling into later prints. I also like looking at the later printings too, the second prints, third, fourth, etc. This, I believe, is going to be just a little bit of a run. I know I'm doing runs again, but it's easier for me. Just when it's already one of the stuff I'm looking at, I might as well just give it to you in one batch rather than stagger them out and can't remember which ones I covered, which ones I didn't. So for this later printing segment, we are going to be looking at Invincible second prints. And I'm really just targeting sub 100. So between issues 1, to 100, these are the ones, because there's a couple other later printings too in the later issues that we can look at, but we'll save those for another time. So for today, we're just looking at the ones right here. We're going to start with issue 50. So 50 to 100, basically. So issue 50, this is the same cover as the regular cover, but just kind of a recolored black and whitish type of version. But it is not easy to find. Most of these are not easy to find, which is why I'm trying to tell you to look out for them, because they all do pretty well. Here's issue 50. Second print, $25, best offer on $50, recent sales. Available copies, looking for $90, $100, $130. So that's what I'm talking about. If you can find Invincible second prints, you probably found something worth having, because a lot of these go for a decent amount of money. So there's 50. Next one we have is issue 51. Different cover art here than the regular issue. This is a throwback to, the original cover, original issue 1 cover, but recolored uniform to go with the storyline at the time. Second print for issue 51 here. This one, it also says second print right here at the top. Well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it does say it right in the image barcode or the image logo at the top. No recent sales for this one, so I couldn't find any recent sales for issue 51. But once again, the copies that are available out there aren't cheap. $200 raw, $300 $9.6, $400 $9.8. Those are the asking prices. So once again, very expensive for these Invincible second prints. Print runs are pretty low. Issues aren't that easy to find. So there are only a couple incentives in the Invincible run. There's also only a few later printings or second printings. So not counting like the more recent stuff. I know you can go into all the battle damage, this, that, and the other. Who knows what print we're on now when you get into those things. And we're not talking about Larry's version either. Just talking about legit from Image second printings. Not many. But 50, 51, there are 2 to look for. The next would be issue 60. So not much later there. We're in the Invincible War at this point. This is a wraparound cover. The regular cover had a wraparound cover as well. A little bit bigger. I think it was like a 4 gatefold cover. This one's only just front and back wraparound. But here, show you what the full wraparound looks like right here. So you can get to see right there. It does say second printing again on the front, right underneath the price and the issue number. This thing sells, again, just like the rest, pretty well. Best offer on $50. One sold for $50. Best offer on $67. Again, not cheap. So if you can find it for cheap, you've done well. Asking prices again, $56, $60, $100. These are just examples. These aren't the only copies out there. This is just a nice little cross section of what's out there to give you a sense of what the prices sold and the prices asked are. That's what I try to shoot for. A good. Yeah, because there might be cheaper copies that are more banged up or for one reason or another. There might be more expensive copies that are just more expensive for higher asking prices. But I'm just trying to give you that median kind of area, the median range. That's issue 60. I think I got 2 more. Try to cut it to 5. That's why I cut it sub 100. So our next one is going to be this cover here for issue 89. Now, this is very close to the regular cover as well. I think the trade dress on the regular is blue. The second print is pink. And again, it says second printing right on the cover. I think the blue still does okay, but the second print, once again, commands a premium. One sold at auction for $37.50. Best offer on $40. I'll buy it now for like $22. Yeah, all right. So the sales aren't as high as some of the other ones, but the asks on this one are not bad. $50, $70, $300. And there were a lot, like, I know I showed these, but there were a lot in those higher couple $100 range, like other than these. So I tried to give you the cheapest and the most expensive as best I could without, doing too much work. But there are a lot of expensive ones for this one. So one reason or another, I know you got a bold new direction, all that stuff, but new Invincible at the time. But pink cover, second print, keep an eye out for issue 89. And our last one is another one that's also like one of those easy to miss trade dress coloring. I think the regular edition is also a blue Invincible, whereas the second print again is pink on issue 92 here. And it does say second printing, very small, but it's kind of blended into the background of the art. But otherwise it looks the same, just the trade dress is different and it says second printing. But issue 92 is again another pricey second print. Copies sold, not bad, $10, $20. Those are the most recent sales, but again, the asks on this are pretty high. So when this comes up, they might sell for cheap, and those ones go quick. But the ones that are out there now, $50, $85, $200. So I can't imagine those $9 and $20 copies stayed up for long. They probably got dropped. Alert went off. Somebody bought it. They were gone because you look at what's out there now. It's not like the price has gone up. Like a lot of Invincible news is hit, driving the price on this issue to go up. These are copies that have probably been sitting there forever with high asks. And then when the cheap ones come, they get scooped. And then that's all that's left. So that said, those are my later printings for Invincible. Going up to 100, we can pick it up at 100 and see what else we got another time. We'll bring it back later. But for now, I still got a couple more segments to get through, and we're already half an hour in. I'm trying to make these shows a little bit shorter. I don't know if you guys like it at this length, or if you prefer it to be a touch shorter, like if you prefer 20 to 25 minutes, or if you more enjoy the 35 to up to 40 kind of like minutes. I don't know which one you kind of like, but let me know in the comments which you might prefer. I was going to try to target these to be a little shorter, but as I'm rambling on, you can see we're already over a half an hour. Video games are next. If you can see what's in front of you, this is video games coming next. And I'm only going to be talking about, again, a run on Earthworm Jim. 3 issues from 1996 from Marvel Absurd. Yeah, so a little side imprint from Marvel. But these are worth your time if you can find them. So keep an eye out for Earthworm Jim. It was a fun game. I know it was a fun game from Super Nintendo. So there's a lot of nostalgia for it, but it can't just be nostalgia for the game. Maybe it is, but you can see here 3 issues. We're going to do each of them because they're all worth covering. Here's issue 1. You can see issue 1, 2, and 3. A lot sold for $140 with a few bids. Issue 1 sold best offer $80. 19 bids got one up to $67 for issue 1. Those are recent sales for number 1. Mostly in October. Asking prices for issue 1, 100, 150. 9/8 asking $600 for Earthworm Jim. Yeah, 1996. Crazy, right? Issue 2, grab those 2 if you can find them. Again, there's only 3. So if you see any Earthworm Jims and the Marvel ones, whatever, grab them. They're worth it. Here's issue 2. What do we got for issue 2? Issue 2 sold $30, about 50, 55. Best offers on those 2. Those September and August. So those were a little older. But what's out there right now? $50 raw, $150 9/6. Again, $600 9/8. Not cheap. I mean, especially if you can find high grade, absolutely grab these. But I'd recommend grabbing any if the price is right. So that's issue 2. Keep an eye out for Earthworm Jim issue 2. And while we're at it, the final issue, issue 3, get that one as well if you can. Prices on this one, 50, 50, best offer on 50. So I think it's pretty much a $50 book based off of what's sold. And then the ask are about 50, 90, 95, and $88. So $50 plus on issue 3. And again, that's the last issue. So it's worth looking for that one too. Any of the 3. A lot of times with some of these titles, like Street Sharks in particular, like issue 1 gets a nice premium, but then the other issues do okay, but they're more like $10 to $15. This is $50 plus, pretty much for across the board on all 3 Earthworm Jims. So grab any of them if you can find them for cheap. Now, moving on to our, I think our last segment, right? I think 4. I think 5 was my my limit for this week as far as segments goes. And I'm doing nostalgia, and the nostalgia here, kind of sticking with the video game kind of idea, was I wanted to look at Dragon's Lair. The most impossible video game in the arcade I've ever seen. Like, could never do it. There's no even instructions. Didn't even know how I was supposed to play. Am I supposed to hit the button? Am I supposed to move the stick? All I know is it kept taking quarters from me, and I couldn't get more than like 30 seconds into the damn thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going back and playing Double Dragon instead. That said, Dragon's Lair, 2003. This was from I can't remember the name of the company, the CGE. They did like the Masters of the Universe, like that weird little offshoot title. And there's also a Graham Cracker book for one of these as well. But this run, the first run in 2003 was 3 issues. So here we go. We're looking at this. I'm not going to get to the Graham Cracker thing. We can get into that later and maybe Chasing Ghosts because those things are hard to find. But even these aren't that easy to find. So if you can find them, grab them. This Don Bluth stuff, Space Ace, Dragon's Lair, grab it all if you can. Here's issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3 for this particular run. This is from 2003. And then just broad strokes, putting all these together, you can see copies can sell cheap. You might be able to find copies online that sell for only $3, and then there's copies that are selling for $45 to $60. It's just a lot of times sellers may not know what they have per se, and it just oddball titles like this. There are collectors for it, so keep an eye out for those cheap prices because even cheap ones pop up online, as you can see, and especially at auction. Especially at auction, because that's when things get completely ignored. They just throw it up, minimum prices, and then one bid will take it, like that one did for $2.99. But as far as asking prices go on this run, again, $40, $50, $20, $25. Again, all the issues all do pretty well, so grab any of them you can find them. There's only 3, just like Earthworm Jim, only 3 in the 2003 run. But then there was a second run that came a little bit later for Dragon's Lair, where they started over with a new number 1. This is with Arcana, however you pronounce that publisher. I think there were 4 issues in this one. Oh yeah, there, I put it on the screen. 4 issues in this one, and once again, worth your time if you can find them. I think there was even a variant on this first issue, but again, stuff I'll save for not hidden gems. Maybe we'll save it for ghosts because those things will be tough to find. But that's issue 1. Here we got 2, issue 3, and there's your issue 4. facing the dragon. Pretty cool cover with the reflection in the blade. I kind of like it. And then broad strokes. Here's the pricing. Yeah, here's the pricing on the second run of Dragon's Lair 2006. Once again, like $40, $50. There's a lot of 2 issues for like $60. So we're looking at like $30 issues, like 30 to 50 in a lot of cases. I don't know. I didn't see any cheap copies get scooped up like the last run, but it could happen here too. But anytime you see it, Don Bluth presents, grab it. There's collectors. And here are the asking prices here for some other ones. $20, $30, $40, still in that same kind of range. So if you can find it for a couple of bucks in a box, maybe even in $1 box, grab it because it's worth your time. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you enjoyed these selections. Again, let me know what kind of time frame you guys prefer. I can just make these a little bit shorter. It'll save me some time and a little bit of effort, save my voice because I get, a lot of talking here. It's only me. When I do these shows, it's just me talking to nobody. Well, I'm talking to you guys, hoping that you're listening, but I'm not getting feedback. I'm not bouncing this off anybody else. It's just me talking, and my voice gets tired after a while. So let me know if you like a shorter show, if you'd be better, if you'd watch it, the whole thing, or, I don't know how you guys watch. I don't know if you watch it all in one run, you watch it in chunks, you just skip through, jump to stuff that you're interested in. Tell me what you would prefer. Would you like these things chaptered out? How much detail would you like? I'll try my best to accommodate, but I won't know unless you guys tell me. So hit me up in the comments and let me know. But once again, thank you for stopping by and checking this out. Thank you for supporting the channel. We're still having at least I am having a heck of a good time doing this. I had a lot of fun meeting a lot of the fellas down in Baltimore, and and anybody else who was there and just didn't say hello. Well, next time come up and say hello, because I love to say hi. I'm just a collector like you, and I just like talking about comics. So if you want to talk about comics and you see me, just say hello. And with that, thanks again. Let me know again, longer, shorter. You like it where it is? Let me know in the comments. And come back tomorrow and I'll have a new Chasing Ghosts for you. All right. I got to get ready to do Star Wars now. All right. Later.